Welcome back, Charlton Sports Weekly here at Anytime Fitness. I'm Glenn Hughes with Stan Wilds, and we'll talk about some Indian football now.
That's right.
Last week we made our first trip ever over to Lanier County.
Yep, and I believe we took more fans on our side than they had on their home
I
side.
was beginning to wonder if they were just all tailgating and
Yeah.
forgot to show up, but I kept looking over there expecting to see more people, and they never came.
They never came.
The Indians came out on top, 33-0. So always good to get a shutout.
Yeah.
Like I said, Lanier tried the onside kick right off the get-go. I guess they were trying to jumpstart themselves somehow, but that didn't
work out.
That didn't work, and we recovered the ball, had great field position, and we pretty much marched it straight down the field. And I think Richard Dasher scored the first touchdown.
Right.
And we added a couple more scores. Trying to think.
It was 26-0 right at the half.
I think Trey Hamilton he scored 2 in the first half,
and Trey Harrington ran a.
I think
that was in the second half.
Right. Donovan Bolden called a.
Yeah, Donovan. A touchdown.
Right.
Pass.
It was about a 25-yard pass from Richard. So we was up 26-0, and like I said, we didn't run a whole lot of offense in the second half, but Trey Hamilton, he ended up with 110 yards rushing to go along with his 2 touchdowns. So anytime you get 100 yards, it's a good night.
That's right.
Cody Wilds again was the leading tackler. He had 7.5.
Cody's our leading tackler on the team.
Right.
And got the most sacks also.
I said,
so
Maurice Maynor, I think he had his best game he had in his career. He had, I think it was 5.5 tackles.
Yeah.
So
Maurice played. He anchored that outside linebacker position, and they was trying to run those sweeps and off tackle all night. And, Maurice anchored that side and shut them down every time they came that way. Just
right. Like I said, the Indian defense. Shea Gilliard had his second interception of the year. I think we created, it was 5 fumble recoveries.
Yep.
I can't remember. I'm trying to remember all of them.
We created a lot of turnovers and got it.
But I think we held Lanier to 59 total yards for the game. So they had no passing yards. All of them was on the ground. So.
Yeah. Lanier was, they almost looked lethargic out the gate.
Right.
And, on some of the message boards, some of the guys on there trumped them up, and I was expecting a game, and we got over there and looked like we was playing their JV there in the first half.
I mean, I was told, I can't remember who told me this, but they were told that this was supposed to be the biggest game in the history of Lanier County football, They were 3-0, we were 3-0, and it ended up 3-3-0.
Yeah, if that was the biggest game in their history with that crowd support they had, I'd hate to see just your average attendance there, because it was there was no atmosphere from their side whatsoever. The players looked lethargic. I don't know. Maybe they had a bad pregame meal.
I don't know what the problem.
They may not have had a pregame meal, but they was our from the outset of the game. Our offensive line was just pushing their defensive line around. They had that linebacker that was coming in on the blitz some.
Right.
He got picked up most of the time. Offensive linemen that played good. I on offense, I try and watch some of them. And some of those guys that I want to give a shout out to, because they never get their name called.
Right.
Spencer Lowe, got to be the best center in the region again this year. Big kid, snaps the ball and gets after it. I believe Spencer's even got 1 or 2 unsportsmanlike penalties this year, and sometimes you like to see an offensive lineman with that type of mentality.
Get a little bit of nasty in him,
another guy is Michael Alpers, Dirty Mike.
Right.
That's what we all call him. Michael, one of the strongest players on the team. He comes off the ball well, and just been getting a good push all year. And another kid, he ain't the biggest kid, but he's got one of the biggest hearts on the team, Pig Carter.
Pig gets
after it. You know, I've seen, you know, on a lot of the running plays, you know, Pig, he's hitting the guy, the defensive tackle, and then he's scraping off and chasing down the backside linebacker.
It always seems like the biggest kid on the other team.
It
always
does.
lined up across from him.
But Pig's turned out to be one of the most reliable O-linemen we have.
That's it.
I believe the rest of the offensive line is by platoon, though.
Yeah, he mixes and matches.
Yeah, which is good. Get those guys in, get them out, and get them a break. So Russ is doing a good job with those line this year.
Like I said, second half, you know, we came out. We really didn't really move the ball like I think Coach Mack wanted us to.
Yeah, we looked a little lethargic on offense the second half.
But we came out and we ended up running 3 fake punts in the second half. I think the first time we ran it, Drake snapped to the punter. Trey Harrington just took off running, and I think he broke 1 or 2 tackles and
about a 60-yard touchdown.
I think it was 48 yards.
Oh, 48?
Right.
Probably from where he was standing.
That's
maybe
true, yeah.
60.
But if he had about 2 more yards to go, he probably wouldn't have made it.
That's right.
But he did, so that's his first career touchdown. So then we ran later in the second half. We faked it to the up back, Caleb Smith, and
2 plays in a row.
Well, we got called for a penalty on the first one, moved us back, and said, Coach Mack, you know, what the heck?
If it worked once, let's try it again.
So he ran it again. Again, he broke downfield, picked up the first down, and so you never know, Coach Mack. He'll roll the dice anytime, any place.
Yeah. You never know if you're gonna make it unless you try that every now and again.
Yeah. Plus, I know he likes to put stuff on film that makes other teams have to prepare for it.
Yeah.
So
Keeps them guessing.
You're right. I know in film when I was up there Sunday, can't go into details about this, but I know he's putting in some new wrinkles in the offense this week. So
I've heard about that. The boys have told me some of that.
But you'll just have to show up Friday night and see what they are.
Yeah, it's going to be a little surprise.
You know, hopefully it'll work out for the best and we can generate some more offense.
Yeah.
But
I think this week we got Irwin County coming in. Irwin's 0-3. They got a new coach. They look like the same old Irwin. So
right.
I don't think some of the teams they've lost to aren't very good teams actually. So they may be a little bit worse off than Lanier County was, but we'll see.
Like I said, I read an article this morning. It was from the Tifton Gazette. They were talking about their new first-year coach. You know, he said they're taking baby steps. You know, they're learning. So, you know, I don't think they expect to come over here and beat us. I'm sure that's what they want to do, but realistically, that's probably not in their mind.
No, I don't think it's in too many of them's minds. So, but we'll see. That's why we play the game.
That's it. You never know what our kids' minds might be, too.
Yeah. Might come out like Lanier County last week. Look like we on a heavy dose of cough syrup or something. Because them boys sure looked like they was sedated with something. Let's talk about some of the region games coming up this week.
All right.
It looks like Wilcox or Lanier County goes to Wilcox County. And last week, Wilcox County beat Clinch County by a couple touchdowns.
I think it was like 33, 32 to 20 or something like that.
Right. Who you picking in that game, Glenn? How you think it's going to go?
I think it's going to get ugly real quick.
Yeah, I do
hate
too.
to put it that way, but that's as honest I can be.
I'm going to say Wilcox probably beats them at least about as bad as we did. You know, they may hang even more on them. Who knows? I'll say Wilcox 42, and Lanier County gets a touchdown somewhere and makes it 7.
I don't know. I didn't see no offense last week.
maybe a defensive
Maybe
special
so,
team. All right, Clinch County. They gonna be on the rebound this week. They got Bacon County coming in. Bacon County's 3-0. I seen on the message boards. They rolling into Homerville with a head full of steam, man. They confident. They confident.
I think realism's going to set in
Yeah,
real
I think
quick.
reality's going to smack them in the face about
Probably the second quarter.
No, I say about 8 minutes into the
Okay.
game, they may find themselves in a 3-touchdown hole, and Clinch is probably going to be, you know,
They're not going to be real happy after last
they
week.
probably still a little angry over that loss. So I'll say Clinch hangs half 100 on them, at least.
Yeah, at least 40, no doubt.
All right, Atkinson is
They're
off this week. All right, another region game here. Telfair County is at Turner County. Telfair got their first win in a couple years last year, and neither one of us has picked them. We said we ain't gonna pick them till they win.
I'm not sure if Turner's won a game this year, have they?
Let's
were off
see if
last
Turner has won a game.
I think they lost their first two and were off last week, weren't they?
Turner has they have only played one game, and they lost.
Anyway, I think one of them's missing on there.
Yeah, I think Turner is 0-2. I want to say they are 0-2.
I think they played Crisp County one.
Yeah, they lost to Crisp County, then they lost to Worth County. I don't know, man. I'm going to. I said I wouldn't pick Telfair until they won a game. I'm going to pick Telfair to win this one.
Well, I'm going to make a liar out of myself, and I'm going to pick Turner.
And how you see our game going between us and Irwin County?
I think we're going to come out, home game, big crowd, hopefully, and, defense is playing well. I'm looking at something about the same as last week.
I'm looking at about a 5-touchdown win.
Right.
They may get a score, a touchdown. I don't foresee them getting more than 2 touchdowns, but we should at least outscore them by 4 to 5 touchdowns.
Right. Like I said, our defense has only given up 20 points so far all year, so.
That defense is looking good, and we need them to look good right now.
For the rest of the year.
Yeah, we need them to look good. All right, let's get into some college picks here. Last week didn't go good for you and your dogs.
No,
but
they
it did for me and my Gamecocks.
They gave me some hope, and then they just let me down. So, but hopefully, maybe I'm sure this week they're going to get straightened out. I don't know how much it's going to help them in the long run, but.
Well, they play Coastal Carolina, the big University of Coastal Carolina. That's going to make the trip to Athens from Myrtle Beach. So, how you think that game's going to go, Glenn? Be over by halftime?
It should be. If the Dogs will come out with the right attitude and play like they did last week, they should have probably 35 points by halftime. I'm
going to say the Dogs beat them by about 50. Georgia's offense looked good last week. Their defense looked good at times, but they still couldn't stop Lattimore.
No.
And there ain't gonna be many teams, I think, that will stop Lattimore.
Like I said, the kid that impressed me from South Carolina is that defensive lineman that
Jadavion Clowney.
The one that ran the fake punt.
Melvin Ingram. He actually got a SEC Defensive Player of the Week, SEC Special Teams Player of the Week, and was the Defensive Player of the Week for covering all of college football. So.
Tell you what, he is a load, especially if he's got the ball in his hand rumbling down the field.
A 76-yard fake punt touchdown run, and then
fumble return.
A fumble return. And and Georgia tried an onside kick, executed it, and that same guy, Melvin Ingram, got up and out-jumped everybody and caught the onside kick. So I wasn't happy until he caught that onside kick. My mood was shifting the whole afternoon. So my wife told all of her friends, don't bother coming over or don't bother calling because you might hear a few expletives according to how the game's going. So let's look here at the game tomorrow night. This is going to be, I don't know how good of a game it's going to be, but it's LSU is playing at Mississippi State. Mississippi State lost a heartbreaker against Auburn last week.
Yes, they did.
LSU, I don't know that LSU ain't the best team in the country right now. I picked preseason. I did pick Mississippi State to win the SEC West, and I'm probably going to have to recant on that pick.
I've had to eat words. You can go ahead and do it, too. It's no big deal.
I think LSU's just got too much. I didn't know that they was going to be as strong as they was, and especially with their starting quarterback suspended. I think he may be back for this game, though, but Jared Lee, regardless, I think has played well enough. He may keep that spot.
Right.
It don't matter who's at quarterback for him. I think the defense and the offense would be too much, and they beat Mississippi State by 2 touchdowns probably.
Like I said, Mississippi State usually plays tough at home.
Yeah.
They get the cowbells
Get them
ringing.
cowbells ringing.
So, I'm gonna take LSU, but I'm gonna pick it by only about 10 points.
10 points, all right. Another good game, Auburn at Clemson. This game went to, I think, 3 overtimes last year.
I believe so.
So, Auburn has got to have the luckiest streak at the start of the season I've ever seen in my life. They must every player on the team must have a rabbit's foot hit in their jock strap or something.
And everything.
They escaped by the skin of their teeth opening weekend, and last week they was literally that close
to getting beat.
Yeah, to getting beat by Mississippi State. It was a bunch of coulda, woulda, shouldas, but and I don't think Clemson is that good this year.
I think Clemson lost a lot from last year.
Yeah, Clemson's down this year, so I'm gonna say I actually dislike both of these teams.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us. We'll agree on that part.
I will say, but I will say this: Clemson does play good at home. I'm going to say Clemson wins by a field goal.
Well, I'm going to say Auburn keeps their lucky horseshoes with them. And, playing at Clemson's home, Death Valley is a loud place.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pick Auburn to win by 10.
All right. Another big game this week, Michigan State at Notre Dame. And before I say anything on that game, if there's an unlucky team I've seen to start the year, it's got to be Notre Dame. They turned the ball over inside the red zone. I think they've turned the ball over at least 70% of the time, every time they get in the red zone. Last week they had the ball game won against Michigan. I don't think Michigan had a timeout. They got the ball with 40 seconds, got a long pass from their own 20-yard line, and scored and beat them on the last play, no time.
The luck of the Irish isn't with them, is it?
It's the misfortune of the Irish. Unfortunately for them, Michigan State is a top 15 team, and I think they way better than Michigan, so I think Michigan State beats them by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I say Michigan State's going to roll, too. So.
Yeah. All right, another game here before we get to the big games of the weekend is Navy at South Carolina. Navy runs that triple option. In this game, this is obviously Carolina's my favorite college team, but Navy is my second favorite college team. So either way, I can't be too disappointed. I can't ever remember rooting against the Naval Academy.
I always like watching the service academies because they run that triple option, and it's fun to watch when it's run right.
And those guys are playing because they love the game. They're not looking at staying at college 3 years and leaving, and that's why I like.
I mean, the majority of them's outsized at every position, but the heart of them, it shows.
Yeah. I think Carolina's going to be too much for them, though. I think the speed and the home field advantage. I'll say Carolina by 2 touchdowns. I don't think Navy keeps the ball a lot. They're going to probably have the time of possession edge, and I think 10 to 14 points Carolina win, but Navy should keep the ball and keep it close at least for a while.
Yeah, I think South Carolina may come out flat after last week's win, and
a little emotional drain.
That'll help keep Navy in it for a little while, but eventually, the power and the speed's just going to wear them down, and South Carolina's going to win. There's no doubt in my mind.
All right, another big game here for SEC, and this is a rivalry game. It's Tennessee at Florida, and I don't know what these two teams haven't played.
They played the Little Sisters of the Poor so far, I think.
Yeah, so I really don't know what either one of them's got. Tennessee came on strong at the end of the year last year. Florida had for them was a down year. So I really don't know. I've watched a little bit of Florida. I've just seen highlights of Tennessee.
Right.
But the game's in the swamp, and I was in the swamp 2 years ago when these teams played, and it was announced that was the biggest crowd in swamp history that day, and that was the loudest game I've ever been to in my life. My son Hamp was sitting right beside me, and we was trying to talk to each other and couldn't even hear. And it was just those Florida fans get up and they hate those hilltop those mountain people.
Hate hearing Rocky Top.
Oh God! And I'm no big fan of Tennessee. I don't like Tennessee. I can give or take the Gators. So I'll be rooting for the Gators in this game. And I'm going to say the Gators by a touchdown. Only because it's at home. It's at home, and I don't know what either one of them's got because of their schedule. So.
But I'm with you. Not a fan of either team. Any team that wears orange, it seems I don't like. So Auburn, Clemson, Florida, Tennessee. Probably throw in Texas with that burnt orange.
Yeah, I don't like Texas.
So if you wear orange, I pretty much don't like you. So sorry about that. But playing at home
reminds you of Halloween, trick or treat.
Yeah. But playing at home, I think Florida will have the advantage. So hate to pick one or the other, but I'll go with Florida.
All right. Well, the big game of the weekend, 2 top 5 teams. If I'm not mistaken, FSU is ranked number 5 in the country. If I'm not mistaken, they're 5 or 6. But they play Oklahoma, number 1, coming to Tallahassee.
Big early season matchup.
Yeah. Oklahoma seems to be loaded this year, which every year they're loaded. But with all that talent, sometimes they don't put it all together.
That's right.
Doak Campbell will be probably the most hostile place they play all year. This one's a tough game to pick because Oklahoma ain't played anybody, and Florida State, usually they open up with Miami so you can gauge them.
Yeah.
I don't think they've played anybody. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say Florida State beats them by a field goal that ain't wide right or wide left. If the game was in Oklahoma, I'd probably pick them. But Florida State's I know they got a bunch of speed, and they returned a lot of folks from that team last year, and they weren't bad. they weren't bad.
That Jimbo Fisher, he's
Yeah.
turned them around after a few down years they've had. And, you know, the Big 12, you know, they always seem to have these great teams, but when it comes to crunch time, they can't pull off the win. So I'm going to pick Florida State also.
I'm going to say they beat them by a field goal. Straight down the middle. Bobby Bowden's gone. The wide right.
The jinx is over, huh?
The jinx is over. I think that's all of the big games and the teams that we like that we'll pick for this week. So we'll see how we do. I think we differed on the Auburn Clemson, and that's it.
Probably so, yeah.
That's it. And it won't surprise me if Auburn does win that game. They changed their name from, I don't know, I think they schizophrenic. One week they the War Eagle, the next week they the Tigers.
Then they the Plainsmen.
Yeah, they the Plainsmen. Who knows what they are. I'm just going to call them the Rabbit's Feet because they the luckiest team I've ever seen.
Well, I guess that's going to wrap up this segment of Charlton Sports Weekly. Hope y'all go out tomorrow and watch the Maidens play against Clinch County, and Friday night as we host Irwin County. So tell us how we're doing.
And Friday night we're going to try and have a pregame show. Me and whoever I can find as a guest, we'll try and have one from 6:30 to 7. So tune in if you can't make it to the game, or if you got to work, take you a break and tune in.
That's right.
And we'll try and be online, coming at you, giving you our thoughts on the upcoming game that night. And if you're not a member of Anytime Fitness yet, come and see me, or check us out on Facebook, Anytime Fitness Posting. And I always post specials on there. I got one posted on there right now. So, but you can't take advantage of it unless you come in. Let me know you seen it on Facebook.
All right, well, that's going to wrap us up. We'll talk to y'all next week.